All right. This is to all my homeowners out there who, you know, do for your family, you work hard, and you finally decide that you want to have something to leave to your family. Well, I'm from Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and became a homeowner, you know, at a young age. And I've discovered some things that are just evil, for the simple fact that people work hard for what they want and they want that to pass on to their children and things can be taken. So, as I'm getting to the point, I, my wife and I purchased a home for our family in Sugar Mill Plantation in West Baton Rouge, town of Addis, 4375 Bayou Plantation. And we were doing good. For one, we were the first family on the block, biggest lot on the block, house built from the ground up. So we had a lot of privacy, a lot of openness, and just quiet until everybody else started piling in. And, that's when things kind of went crazy. But to make a long story short, I moved my family from East Baton Rouge to West Baton Rouge for a safer life, better education. And what they received was torment, discrimination, police harassment, and anything else, you can put in there. So with that, let's kind of fast forward. Been in the house for a while. It's ours. You know what I'm saying? We done made it home. But COVID hits. And my family, we contract COVID at least 6 times, if I ain't mistaken, because my wife worked in the professional field as a medical assistant. Me, I worked in the professional field as assistant general manager and general manager of a senior living community in Kennett, Louisiana. So, we are dealing with people on a consistent basis who are always contracting and spreading because that's our job. We the front line on our jobs. So I ended up catching the Delta variant, almost lost my life. Developed pneumonia, had to stay in the hospital for a week, got sent home with oxygen right before Hurricane Ida hit. And, that was devastating. I had to go home on oxygen, but also kick out $1,000 for a generator so that tank was still pumped when the lights went out when the hurricane hit. So during COVID, you lose money. Mortgage, you get into a forbearance. It's supposed to have everything situated until, you can get back straight. But on top of that, they have other options. Loan modification. So besides all of the COVID stuff, almost dying, losing pay on that, lost my job. Got in a loan modification. Loan modification was approved November 2022. Effective 12/22 December 2022. Made our first payment November 27th, 2022. the mortgage servicer, and that's another thing also. When you buy a home, FHA, in these areas, that loan is insured in case you default. That's what the FHA is. So they said that we didn't make our first payment, so they went with the foreclosure process. Now, mind you, we made our first payment November 27, 22. Payment was due December 1st, 22. We made our payment 3 days early. They said we didn't make the payment. Now they want to foreclose. Lawyer sends a letter. I send a validation letter back because they haven't credited us our payment for the loan modification. And the loan modification, everything on your credit is supposed to report on your credit as disputed. You have to have some comments. So they never did anything with the letter. They just ignored it. Didn't update my credit report. Didn't do anything. This is when I found out my credit was messed up by the mortgage service company, how they reported the forbearance and all those things there really messed my credit up. How that stuff worked, was they supposed to wipe it clean? I don't know at the moment, but I know when I went to go get a home equity loan because I had equity in my property, I was denied. So that home equity loan could have saved my property, gave me some money, and we could have floated by. So, get back to the lawyer and them ignoring my validation letter because I want to know where did my payment go. So they ignored that, and this is when we get to Louisiana law and what they call executory process, where when they claim foreclosure, you don't get a trial. They just get to submit paperwork, and the clerk of court, whoever, just stamp it, and it's enforced. Next thing you know, you get, a sale letter. After the sale, you get kicked out. So I went through the process. I at least figured out that I can submit an answer, even though I can't see the judge on it because it's automatic. Submitted an answer. That didn't work. They still proceeded with the sale. I had the thing filed in time. Judge wasn't there. Judge was never there whenever I needed him. Just some kind of part-time guy that floats through 3 different parishes. And it was sold. Then the person who bought it for less than what our buy price was, not to mention the equity, for less than what we purchased it for. Called us up, said she wanted to work, she wanted to help. I told her no, I'm fighting it because I have legal right to fight my rights being violated and laws being broken. She got upset, didn't want to help no more, decided to kick my family out the house. And it's like, I called everybody. Called everyone dealing with housing, even the attorney general. Nobody could help. So I was frauded out of, not to mention, in order to sell my home, they forged the note. So at the end, I'm gonna give some pics so you can see, and y'all just tell me, what do you think? Plus, on top of that, when we think we're dealing with a mortgage company, we get the loan, we get the house, and then maybe a year later, we get a letter from a servicer. Who is this servicer? Why are we not dealing with the original creditor anymore after a year? And then on top of that, the servicer that we dealt with SharePoint Mortgage, y'all need to look into them because they have class action suits. They have all kind of complaints against them. And then what they decided to do is change their name because we dealt with SharePoint Mortgage Services for at least 2 years before we started getting documentation as now their new res DBA SharePoint. So they went ahead and filed for another fictitious name to cover over SharePoint so they can continue doing business and nobody will know that they're still SharePoint. And God knows who else SharePoint was covering up before that. So this is what it is. Manufactured foreclosure. They lie because they know that they can forge paperwork, that they can change numbers, say you owe. They can say you owe anything. They can just make up a number. You don't dispute it, or you do dispute it, they're going to ignore you and go straight to executory process. Only reason why I know that the lawyer that handled everything went with unclean hands and not knowing, or maybe he did know, I'm not sure, but submitted forged documents to the court, so fraud on the court, but also in joining the sheriff because the sheriffs get involved. And, once that paperwork is submitted and it looks okay, they're going to stamp it and they're going to proceed. But I had the original paperwork. My wife, she kept good files, found it, compared documents, and that's how I spotted the fraud. And this is happening to thousands of people around the country because by being FHA insured, once they say you defaulted, they get paid insurance money, plus they get to take it home and then sell it for more profits. And also asset-backed securities. This is not a mortgage company. These are people who pool their money together for you to buy the house with the money, but then you pay them back every month, which is why your mortgage, not only are you paying the insurance, because you're paying for the insurance, is coming out of that PMI. You got to look at your interest versus your principal. You are paying more interest than principal because all those people who put their money up for you to buy their house got to get their money back first with interest. So I hope somebody can learn something from this. If you're in that situation, I'm praying that you can dodge it, but get some legal help if you can afford it. They also know that we can't afford legal help, and it's hard to understand the language of the legal system, but to have an automatic system where they can just say, hey, they didn't pay, and automatically seize and sell, it ain't right because you don't have time to catch anything. You don't have time to think. So I hope somebody can do something with this, save your home, save a loved one, but this can't continue to go on. So I hope y'all get something out of it, and let's make a change. Peace.